You know what? I have to say, good night for Bill Belichick. I thought he was a big winner.
I would agree with Ted on that one.
I would agree. I think Bill comes out looking once again classy, funny.
Right.
The guys that were on the dais that weren't speaking, like Willie McGinnis.
Yep. Your boy, Matt Light.
My guy, Matt Light.
How cool would it be to have muscle like Willie McGinnis?
They were ecstatic about Bill being there. After he did his roast, they all got up and ran over to him.
Right.
Except Amendola.
Except for Danny Amendola. But he learned that when you speak first, sometimes you get a response, which is Bill gets to speak last. So,
right. And the proofs are in the facts. But I also think I also think.
Wait a minute. What is that? I need to hear that one again.
The proofs are in the facts.
The proofs are in the facts.
Right.
All right, I like
so
that.
when Bill says you had 200 yards receiving, it's like those are the facts. There's no disputing that. Like
Pudding is so out.
But the other thing that I looked at is even when Bill came up, and I'm not talking about the former players, just the people in general gave him like this loud ovation.
Yeah. Well, they loved the Amendola stuff. They absolutely loved it.
You know, Danny Amendola up here on stage came with us, and Danny joined us in 2014, got us 200 yards that year, and then in 2016, he picked up another 250. Or to put it another way, what Randy would call a decent first half.
In all sincerity, though, which career with the Patriots would you prefer, Randy Moss's or Danny Amendola's?
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good
one.
Give me Amendola's all day.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's not even a doubt. The catches in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I mean,
the huge catches against the Jaguars.
How many rings did he end up with? 3?
2.
Yeah, but it is so unfortunate for Randy Moss.
Yeah.
And that was a theme last night. But I mean, to have the greatest offensive season ever, quarterback, wide receiver, and not end up getting a ring is it's a sad thing.
Bill also bringing up the unbelievable passes that Tom made and then correcting himself and saying, oh, wait, no, Julian made that pass. Oh, no, Julian did that pass as well. Like, he was so genuine. Like, he was cute doing the entire thing, but the only way that Brady got him back was the Ring camera. And it confirmed it. I mean, we all knew that was him from jump because it looked exactly like him. But when Brady said it and Bill just has this big smile on his face.
Yeah, that was clearly him.
Oh, it's so good.
And it tells you where Brady and Bill are today.
Yeah.
That they're on a good page. That, that you're not going to be doing that with one another, considering how inextricably linked they both are, if you're not on good terms.
No, they're good. Like, they're definitely good. And what really had me going, like, is, and kind of, it hit Tom a little bit deep down inside, but it's kind of Bill's way of saying, we were both a huge part of this, but at the end of the day, I'm the reason why.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like Bill, because he's like, I'm the one who picked you, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm the one who coached you for all these years. But it was good to see that they, especially Bill, because we always knew that Tom had a great, like, attitude when it came to making fun of himself and those type of things. But to see Bill in that light.
I mean, would Bill have done that if he were still coaching?
No, he wouldn't have done that if he was still coaching. Or he might have done it if he was coaching elsewhere, maybe. But he definitely wouldn't have done it if he was, obviously still the coach.
Does asking Kevin Hart if he can get him a seat like that in Philadelphia mean that Bill thinks he's going to be the coach of the Eagles at some point?
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
But I think that all of that was sort of directed subliminally to Robert Kraft. Like, I'll be in Philly, I'll be winning there, you'll be watching me. One thing with Brady that hasn't gotten a lot of press, which I thought was the admission about doing everything that he was accused of and deflated.
Yes.
Yeah.
For $20 million.
Right.
They gave it to
He
me.
admitted about it.
Right.
They admitted that he did it.
And then he broke his phone at the end.
And Randy talked about it when he's like, why didn't you cheat when I was there?
Yeah.
You didn't trust me enough to cheat?
Well, Curtis, and that was funny. I like the Moss stuff too. But going back to the Moss question where you said, I thought Danny Amendola was great, but when Moss was so, man, that year that Tom had with Randy, I think that goes down as the greatest quarterback wide receiver tandem in one single season.
But who looks back with regret on their time with the Patriots, Amendola or Moss?
Oh yeah, I can see what you're saying in that element. But who will we remember in 20 years?
I mean, we're going to be seeing the highlights of those Super Bowls because they're not going to win another one anytime soon for a long time.
Right, but we'll obviously
name-wise.
Yeah, we'll obviously be remembering Moss will always.
But that's what's so infuriating, at least for me, when Danny Amendola feels the need in the dynasty to take shots at Bill Belichick. Like, you should be
grateful.
You should be licking his shoes.
Yeah. He gave you the most
for
money
what he gave you, money and rings.
Yeah, he gave you the most money ever. Like you were an undrafted guy that was, trying to make your way in the league. I think he started out, I want to say in Dallas or St. Louis, one of the two. And you were just trying to make your way and, like most of us undrafted guys, get an opportunity. Bill pays you a ton of money to replace Welker. You kind of come in, you don't really live up to the hype as far as the production. Yeah, you make some great plays for a couple of playoffs. But it's all because of Bill. He could have easily cut you after year one.
Right. Yeah. But if your nickname's Playoff Dola, that's pretty sick.
Oh, no. Playoff Dola, listen, I don't take nothing away from what Danny Amendola did, especially in those playoff runs to help Patriots win the Super Bowl. But you're kind of right. It's like, when you get an opportunity to crap on a guy who gave you an opportunity.
Comes across like a douche canoe.
Yes.
And Bill got the last laugh.
Oh,
and as he deserved. It was just pure gold.
And look at his face, too.
Oh, yeah, he knew.
Because you can't do anything. It's like when the guy holding the mic is the one clowning you, and even if you're yelling from the audience like people tend to do, guess what? The comedian has the mic, and he'll finish with the last word, and Amendola's face was just... He wanted to leave.
Also, yet another Tom Brady event you weren't invited to.
Yeah, it was a West Coast thing.
I don't know what's going on there.
It is so weird that you were on the Hernandez Netflix documentary, but we're not part of the Apple docuseries or Tom Brady's roast.
Well, I knew Brady before he was Brady.
Anytime they brought up a tight end, I was, crossing my fingers.
That I'd get a little shout out?
That a little wiggy would come out.
I thought maybe Moss would shout me out a little bit.
Every time that they tried
to,
they brought up other tight ends.
You knew Tom Brady before he was, as Julian Edelman said last night, weird.
Yes. I think we all did. Me, myself, me, Foye, Drew. But listen, you make that type of money, you start, like Peyton Manning said, hey, hanging out, shooting pool, having some beers. I've done that with Peyton Manning before. And then Brady, a good night out is him dressing up like some Star Wars figure at the Met Gala. It's like, what are you doing, man?
This is Derek, the Steelers fan. Hello, Derek.
Good morning, everybody.
What's up, Derek?
It's the gift that keeps giving, Hill Dog.
Yeah.
I love the dismantling of a dynasty is something that I will cherish till the day I pass.
What did you think of last night?
I'll tell you. The best part was at the beginning where all the fanboys, my buddy Curtis included, were like, "This sucks. This isn't any good." Because they were scared about poor Tommy getting offended. And then 5 minutes into it, they loosened up, which was great. But the story continues to be that pathetic owner of yours. I'll tell you, everything that was said on that stage, and that's the only thing that they would cut. So Courtney loves true crime, loves documentaries.
Yes.
I'm telling you, there's one buried in that Jupiter story. The greatest documentary that will ever be made one day, I hope, because that story reeks. And the Patriot cartel showed you, look at the Kraft. They can kill anything, huh? They can kill anything they want, Hill Dog. They are the best.
Tom Brady went right up there and demanded that it be stopped.
I will say this, Greg. It is a bad look.
Immediately.
It's a bad look that they tolerate.
Curtis.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Curtis.
Go ahead.
Some of us haters, we don't get these opportunities. Well, actually, we've been getting a lot of them, but they'll be gone soon. This guy, now, Curtis, you go back to that when it all came out down in Jupiter. Okay, first and foremost, the madam had a previous. She was busted in Oxford, Massachusetts. Okay, and then go look at the Vanity Fair article that Kraft put out, which is a complete clown show, a complete, absolute. Like, bury this story like he's like, a made Gambino crime family. It's something stinks over there, Curtis, and I can't wait for the documentary because it's coming.
Yeah, I would just say it's not a good look for the organization that you tolerate joke after joke after joke after joke about Aaron Hernandez, which, last I checked, is a far more egregious act or acts, depending on what you believe, versus something about a massage.
But listen, I get what Robert kind of feels a certain way to the whole massage thing, because it's not just like an old guy who went somewhere and had like a handy dandy. They made it seem like it was sex trafficking minors. And so when this whole thing came out, it was like, they were only highlighting Robert Kraft's name, and then they were talking about sex trafficking and minors, and so.
Yeah, but the joke wasn't about any of that.
No. But the whole, anybody who remembers that whole stuff, that's what their biggest thing was, like the sheriffs and all those people.
Wiggy, during Deflategate, people on the nightly news, Brian Williams, that bastion of integrity, was saying that Tom Brady should be kicked out of the NFL.
No, I know that, but we're not. When it talk, but that's Deflategate, like. But you think Tom cares about like?
No, what I'm saying is that in each case you can point to the extreme reaction.
No, but the extreme. This wasn't a reaction of people. This was the reaction of the police department.
I think to Curtis's point, making jokes and being okay with jokes about murder, somebody who was alleged murderer, and somebody who then committed suicide in jail, in letting those fly, but then being upset when.
But he was convicted of doing that.
No, I agree. But,
I think that was all Tom Brady. I'm sure that Tom Brady wanted Robert Kraft there. I'm sure he did.
Right.
And that a part of the agreement was that there weren't going to be jokes made. But that's not the way a roast works. Like, there's no sacred cows.
No, I get that point of it. I get that point. But I could feel like I could see what maybe where Robert might feel a little bit like, I don't want you to make fun of this point, because when it all came out, people could say what they want. They made it sound like it was a sex trafficking thing, and that he wasn't just some random dude. He was the only name that we heard about.
Yeah.
And no, you're right, Wiggy. The reaction was insane.
Yeah, and it was like, it was like sex traffickers. There was minors that worked there, and all this, that, and the other. And it was like,
also, Bill could not get over to shake Peyton Manning's hand after he was done quicker. That's a guy who understands where the paycheck is coming from.
How about Peyton Manning? Finally, Bill gets to work with two quarterbacks that he respects.
Ooh, the Mac Jones comment in the beginning, too. Was that Kevin Hart, who was like, you really effed Bill. You gave him Mac Jones after?
Yeah.
Like, sheesh.
I liked Kevin Hart. I know a lot of people didn't like him.
He's just not funny, Wiggy.
He might not be funny to you, but humor's different.
It's not humor different. Don't take it personal.
I'm not taking it personal.
Okay, I just don't think the guy's funny. He doesn't. He's probably he's so wealthy or whatever. He's in every movie that there is. I get it. He probably doesn't have time. Do you think he prepared stuff for that?
I think he did.
No, I think he just he just gets up there and goes, "Okay, guys." Like,
right, but
that was a funny line.
No, but like, I thought the AB thing was funny. I thought him bringing the kind of jokes of where, like, all right, we're crossing the line. It's like, I didn't think the guy Ross was funny, but I'm not going to say that the night.
Kevin Hart should have said, Courtney thinks I'm tall in Boston.
He scripted definitely the opening monologue, but I don't think that he puts as much effort into as somebody like Nikki Glazer, who probably spent a lot of time writing her script, because he doesn't need to. He's Kevin Hart. But it's also impressive that he could be in my mind, pretty funny without putting all that effort.
Right, but I'm saying it's a roast, and they've traditionally been done the same way since they used to do them at the Friars Club, which is that you do put the effort in. You are Nikki Glazer or you're Jeffrey Ross, and you, timing-wise, delivery-wise, like, you put the effort in.
Yeah, but he's the host.
You don't just stand up there and go, "Hey, I'm Kevin Hart."
He's the host. It's different for somebody who comes up.
That's a great Kevin Hart.
Thank you.
It's different for somebody who comes up as a roaster, who's going to be roasting Brady. He's the host where he has his little monologue where he opens up, and then what he does, he then improvs as he hears things as they go on throughout the night.
I also think comedy is so personal, so I understand like Greg doesn't find Kevin Hart to be funny. Something I always find funny is when you see a comedian start laughing. Like people hate Jimmy Fallon because he laughs all the time at his own jokes or somebody else's jokes and can't even get through his next joke. I love that. People find that very annoying. And Kevin Hart was very similar last night. He was laughing along with it. And
that's why I said it's more about what you like. Because I didn't really find the guy Ross to be funny, but I thought the girl was funny.
Yeah.
And, people are going to be like, oh, Ross was hilarious. I'm like,
I understand. I get your point. I like somebody in the Twitch chat says Greg wants Dean Martin. Like, no, I'm not. It's not who I want.
You're like looking at the roast of Richard Pryor.
No, I appreciate a good roast.
Robin Williams was doing it.
I happen to love a good roast. I'd like there's a format. There's a recipe.
Can I get one thing off my check?
Recipe? What's the recipe?
Have you ever watched a
Yes,
roast?
I've watched roast.
What roast?
Garlic.
Who the hell was on FX? Who the hell did they roast? Snoop Dogg was there. I think it was Ice-T.
Justin Bieber?
No, I think they roasted Ice-T or something like that.
Okay, there's a format to the way that they do the roast. People put some effort in.
And I feel like the host does his little monologue, and then
his biggest thing was going up there going, F you, Tom. Like, it's just not, that's not.
Did you do a whole show as Kevin Hart? By the way, can I just say this?
I didn't know you was a comedy critic now.
Well, I'm allowed to be, aren't I? I'm allowed to have an opinion.
You are. All right.
Can you do it one more time?
We get so butthurt.
No, I don't get butthurt. But I think that the majority of people, I may be wrong, I think the majority of people thought that Kevin Hart did a good job as host.
I would agree.
You're like in a minority of people that go, Kevin Hart sucked. He was the only bad part of the night.
He's just never made me laugh once.
Right, he's not
ever.
He's not your type of comedian.
That's interesting though. Greg's first time being in a minority.
Yeah.
Hey,
he's not your type of comedian.
Thank you.
I thought the girl.
And you were right about Pop.
I had never seen. I had no idea who the girl was. Nikki Glazer.
Yeah,
I'd
awesome.
never seen her before. I thought she was the funniest person the whole night.
She killed it.
What she said got CTE made me laugh.
Yeah, that
out
was
loud.
hilarious. No, she.
But that's what Kevin Hart said about before that about Tom Brady's. You know what?
Right, because he got the divorce. But Greg, I've just about had it with Bledsoe being the victim. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, you were 0-2 on a Super Bowl winning team. You went 5-13 with that roster. Stop bitching. It's your fault.
He was funny though.
He was great.
He was
I like the double back being what Tom Brady does when he walks past a mirror.
Oh yeah, that was great.
I liked when he said, you have all the rings, but what you will never have is my 28th wedding anniversary that I just had.
But then it was the girl who was then said, "Oh, Brady's so fine. Tom, you need to bang."
Oh yeah.
Was it the girl
Yes,
who said
he
that?
said that.
Oh man.
All right. Well, if you missed it, it was excellent.
I had no problems with it.
It was excellent.